Are you? Are you there? Can you hear me? Are you there? Can anybody answer me? Hello? Are you there? Yes? Okay. Okay. So let's get started. Very good, very good. But before starting, some little bird has told me that today is Samuel Pretus's birthday. So, Sam, congrats. Congrats. Have a good day today. Okay, so with that, please, you have to have before you your notes. We are going to correct some exercises you did last week. So number 2, remember, we're talking about the economy. We're talking about the 3 sectors of economy, and we're talking about what an economy is, and some things about economics and the work of the job of economists. And in this second exercise, you have to fill the gaps with these words of the box, and you have economist, economy, and economics. And I need your contribution here. And to fill the first gap. So, and is a system for allocating resources to meet people needs and desires. What do you think? What do you think is the correct answer for this first sentence? What do you think? What do you think? Now stay focused on our task. So, and the correct answer is an economy. An economy. Very good, Ines. Very good. So, let's go to the next sentence. The study of the economy is called. The study of the economy is called. You think? What you think? The study of the economy. Economy, things related to work, to money, to people. And this is, the correct answer is economics. Very good. And finally, see, it's very easy. A person who studies economics is called and waiting for your answers. Now we are in the third sentence. A person who studies economics is called and Ines is the quickest girl here. An economist. You can become one when you grow older if you want. Very good. So now we have to decide whether the concepts of the box are goods or services. And we have here the first concept, bartendering. What do you think? Is this a good or is this a service? What do you think? Bartendering. The waiters that are working in bars, in hotels, bartendering. This is, what do you think? Is this a good or a service? What do you think? Mind your spelling, Ines. This is a yes, a service. Very good, Miguel. Very good. What about a house? What do you think? What about a house? Is a house a good or a service? You remember that goods are things and services are actions. And talking about a house, we'd say that the house is what do you think? A house is a good in singular. A good. Okay, very good, very good, very good. What about teaching? My job. What about teaching? Is teaching a good or a service? Teaching. What do you think? Very good, Sandra. Very good, Julia. Very good, Pablo Laborda. Very good. Teaching is a service, okay? A service. Very good. What about medical care? Medical care. Is medical care a good or a service, according to you? What do you think? What do you think about medical care? About medical care. A service, okay. Can anybody point out any other good you can find here in this table, in this grid? So you can choose between book, car, driving, money, oil, clothes, firefighting. What do you think? I'm asking for good. Out of these things you have here written, a car is a good, a car is a good, a book is a good, very good. Why? Because they are things. And what about firefighting? What about firefighting? What would you say? This work about firefighting is? What do you think? Yes, Monroyo, oil. This is a good, very good, because this is a thing. Money, very good. Attention, clothes, very good. Attention to your spelling, because in this unit we're not only learning about social science, about economy. We're learning a lot about vocabulary. Okay, very good. Firefighting is a service. Okay, let's go to the next exercise. So, what involves working in the primary sector of the economy? So, A. What involves working in the primary sector of the economy? And the key word is raw materials. Okay, so people that work in the primary sector are extracting from nature raw materials such as fruits, vegetables, minerals, fish. Okay, so this is the key word. And B, what does the secondary sector of the economy produce? And the key word is manufactured products or man-made products. A car, a book, clothes. Very good. And the key word for question C, what is the work of the tertiary sector? Is the key word is services. Okay, services. Very good. Let's move to the next one, and we have here list: raw materials, mining, ski resort, farming. What about farming? What about farming? Does farming belong to the primary sector, the secondary sector, or the tertiary sector? What do you think? Farming. Farming is an activity that belongs to which one of these sectors? Primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector. What do you think? You think primary, secondary, tertiary sector? What do you think? Talking about farming. Farming belongs to I'm waiting for you. Ines says primary sector, but I don't, I'm not very sure. Rodri, primary sector, very good, very good, very good, very good. What about civil service? Civil service is what in Spanish we call funcionarios. People like me, for example. Civil service. Does this job belong to the primary, the secondary, or the tertiary sector? What do you think? Civil service. Civil service. Attention, because we're talking about services. We're talking about services. We can't be speaking about primary sector. So tertiary. Very good. Tertiary. Ines, pay attention to your spelling. Very good. Now, what about car dealership? Car dealership. And this is an activity that consists of selling cars. Selling cars. So you want a car, you can go to a factory or to go to a special service. So we're talking about a service. We're talking about what? About primary, secondary, tertiary sector. What do you think? Car dealership. No secondary sector. The secondary sector is the people, workers that are working in a factory. They are making these cars. We're talking about the activity that consists of selling the car. The car is done, is made. So, very good, Celia. Very good, Julia. Very good. So, car dealership is an activity that belongs to the tertiary sector. Very good. And what about a factory? What about a factory? A factory. A place where they are making cars or are making bricks or are making whatever. What about a factory? So, what is the economic sectors that is suitable with a factory? The primary sector, the secondary sector, the tertiary sector. What do you think? A constructor, Julia, it all depends. If you're talking about a builder, an albañil, the builder belongs to the secondary sector, okay? But not everybody agrees with that, okay? A builder. But the constructor is the person that makes the service of dealing houses. So a factory belongs to the secondary sector. Very good. And finally, what about natural resources? Which is the correct sector for natural resources? Can you see here better? Okay. Natural resources, such as water, such as fish, such as cattle. Okay, thank you, Julia. Very good. What about natural resources? Natural resources, very good, Ines, belong to the primary sector. Very good. Now, I need your contribution here. Okay, so here in this unit you have a lot of drawings. I'd like you to put colors on all of them. So you have here 4 different activities. So 4 different jobs: postman, miner, mechanic, and the baker. And one of them is an intruder. One of them doesn't belong. You have here a group composed of 3 activities, and one of them doesn't belong. According to you, which is the odd one out in this exercise? The postman, the miner, the mechanic, or the baker? What do you think? Talking about the postman, I know many of them. Miner, such a heavy work. The mechanic, and the baker. The baker. Samuel Royo says the miner. The miner. Do you agree? Yes, the miner. The miner is the odd one out. Why? Why is the miner the odd one out here? Why is it? Ines, miner because it's the only one that is the primary sector. Yes. So postman, mechanic, and baker, they belong to, postman belong to the tertiary sector. Actually, mechanic and baker belong to the tertiary sector as well. Okay, very good. So let's go to the next exercise. And you have here a factory worker. Can you see him here? You have here a lawyer, a woman, a steel worker, and a textile worker. So we have 3 workers in a lawyer, which is the odd one out here in this exercise. Which one? Remember, you got to put colors on all of them. So, talking about the factory worker, the lawyer, the steel worker, and the textile worker. What do you think? What do you think? Waiting for you. Waiting for you. Okay. The lawyer, la abogada. Very good. The lawyer. Why? Because the lawyer doesn't belong to the secondary sector. So all these 3 are workers. The factory worker, the steel worker, and the textile worker are workers that work in a factory. But a lawyer works with the judge, okay, before the tribunal. So she belongs to the tertiary sector. And finally, we have here another exercise. A forestry worker, a worker that works in the forest, a fisherman, a carpenter, and a farmer. Which is the odd one out? Which one is the odd one out in this exercise? The forestry worker, the fisherman, the carpenter, or the farmer? Which is the odd one out here? Maybe the fisherman, because the fisherman works maybe in a ship. What do you think? Talking about the forestry worker, the farmer, or the carpenter. What do you think? What do you think? The fisherman, the carpenter, the farmer? Waiting for you. Is that so difficult? So attention, forestry worker works in the primary sector because he, in this case, is extracting raw materials, wood. Wood can't be made by men. Okay, so this is primary sector. And a fisherman has a job that consists of catching fish, and fish can't be made by men. And a farmer works in the fields, and his work consists of growing vegetables, and vegetables can be made by men. But a carpenter has a job that consists of making tables, chairs, okay, and chairs and tables are things that are man-made. Very good, very good. Now, pay attention because we're going to watch some video clips that are very interesting. And now, about primary sector. Pay attention.
Hi everyone. In this unit, we're going to talk about the primary sector. The primary sector is made of 5 main activities, and they are arable farming, livestock farming, fishing, mining, and forestry. Now let's start with the first activity, which is arable farming.
Arable farming comes from Latin. So these are lands that can be plowed. Okay, arables. Okay, it's almost Spanish.
Arable farming is the cultivation of land to produce crops.
Crops, cultivos, crops.
Here we have to distinguish between dry crops and irrigated ones. The dry crops are those that only need
So dry crops only need rainwater, okay? And irrigated crops that need a lot of water.
rainwater. For example, olive trees, grapes, or some cereals like wheat. On the other hand, we have irrigated crops.
Irrigated crops needs a lot of water. They need to be water many times, okay? So crops that need a lot of water.
Irrigated crops need the support of extra water, which is provided by some irrigation methods.
You remember that the Muslims here in Spain were the ones that invented irrigated methods of in agriculture. The Muslims here.
Like rice or fruits and vegetables.
You want a fruit and vegetables, you need a lot of water. You know, tomato, you need a pepper, you need whatever, a cucumber, okay? Whatever needs a lot of water, so you need irrigated farming. So when you eat an apple, you have to think this apple needs a lot of water. Garlic.
The second activity is livestock farming, that is to say, the breeding of animals to obtain food and other products. But which products do these animals give us? From cows, also known as cattle farming, we obtain products like meat, milk, and leather.
Okay, so when you are talking about livestock farming, you're talking about meat. You can't make meat. Talking about milk in the case of cows, and you're talking about leather, cuero.
Although these piglets are really cute, when they grow up, they will give us meat. Sheep are animals that give us some products such as wool and also meat and milk.
Okay, so sheep give us milk, wool, and meat.
Finally, natural products like eggs and meat are provided by chicken. In extensive farming,
Attention, extensive farming. So you need a lot of land. Okay, animals are free in the land. Extensive farming, and you need a lot of space, a lot of room.
we can find animals outdoors and in free spaces.
And this is different. Okay, you can join all these animals, all these goes in just a little space. Okay, and this is not extensive but intensive farming.
However, other animals are found indoors and in closed spaces. This is called intensive farming. The third activity that we have to take into account is fishing. This one involves to catch fish and other animals from rivers, lakes, seas and oceans. There are two types. Coastal fishing takes
Coastal fishing. This is the first type of fishing, coastal fishing. So this is fishing very near the coast.
place near the coast. While deep sea fishing
Deep sea fishing is the opposite. You need to go very far away to catch this enormous fish.
takes place far away from the coast. The next activity that we are going to describe is mining. It means to obtain minerals from the Earth's crust.
Crust is the English for Spanish corteza, so the Earth's crust. Mining, a very heavy work, hard work.
Underground mining takes place below the Earth's surface.
So underground mining is one kind of mining underground, okay, or to go below the Earth's surface.
Minerals like gold, diamonds, coal, oil, and uranium are
All these minerals are found inside the earth. So you need underground mining. You want to get gold, diamonds, and many other minerals, petrol, whatever. You have to go down the earth.
found in underground mining. Open cast mining takes
Open cast mining, this is another kind of mining, but you don't need to go below the earth surface. You can find these minerals, these products that can be found here in the surface. This is called quarrying.
place on the Earth's surface, and minerals like marble are found here.
Marble.
The last activity from the primary sector is forestry. Forestry is the exploitation of forests. For example, when we get natural rubber,
okay, goma natural. This rubber is extracted from some trees.
or when we get cork from cork tree.
Corcho, cork. Okay, are there any questions? I think it's very clear. Thank you. Now go back to our text. Now, primary sector in Spain. So this is your page number 3 in your text. So primary sector in Spain, and we have agriculture, and we have more things. So, but today talking about agriculture, yes. So we have agriculture, and you have the two methods of culture. So dry farming, that gets water when it rains, and it's extensive because it needs large fields to produce crops. You can see here this image. So this is a farmer, and he is sowing seeds, okay, on the land. So this is dry farming. This is typical of dry farming, and the key word is that water is obtained only when it rains. So water only when it rains. This is the first idea. The second idea is that this is extensive. This kind of farming is extensive. Why? Because it needs large fields to produce crops. And dry farming prevails in the most of the inner Spain, interior of Spain. So Castilla-La Mancha, Castilla-León, Extremadura. And it's especially suitable for the development of wheat, vine, and olive. So trigo, vino, and aceite de oliva, or aceitunas, grown in monocultures. This word is very important. A monoculture is when you only cultivate one thing, and just only one thing. For example, you go to Jaén, you're going to see large fields that are filled with olive trees, and they cultivate olive trees, and only olive trees in Jaén. This is a very interesting example. Maybe you remember when we talk about the Romans. The Romans were the first in the cultivate in what today is Andalusia, just olive trees, especially in Jaén. Good. And the other kind of farming is irrigated farming that uses irrigation systems to water crops, and it is intensive because it needs just small fields. And the key words for irrigated farming is irrigation systems, because we need a lot of water. Can you see here this image? Okay, a lot of water You need to prepare the land. And you remember that the Muslims in Spain were the first that used this kind of methods. They invented it in Spain. Okay, and the other keyword is intensive. Why? Because if you are irrigating anything, you need just small fields. And the main areas are located in the plains of eastern coast, in the Meseta, Tajo, Guadiana valleys, and the depressions of Ebro and Guadalquivir. Okay, Murcia as well. And typical irrigated farming crops are tomatoes, melons, beans, fruits, rice, and maize. So they need a lot of water, so they are examples of irrigated farming. And major crops, we have some of them are dry farming, others are irrigated farming. And you have here kind of scheme. We have cereals, olive, fruit, and vine. This is a scheme. This is the most important of all this text here. Okay, good. So we have cereals. Important cereals in Spain are barley, eso es centeno, wheat, trigo, maíz, olive oil. Spain is the world's leading producer of olive oil. Okay, and the main growing areas are in Andalusia, Spain. You have to be proud of many things, but Spain, one of them is our Spanish olive oil. That's why Spain is the most important olive oil producer in the entire world. And we have some fruits, okay, almond tree, citrus fruits, peaches, apples, and bananas. And you have almond trees, especially in Tarragona and Alicante. Turrón. To make turrón, you need almond. And Alicante and Tarragona are very famous places for this kind of products. Extremadura, Eastern Andalusia, and Balearic Islands. They are very, very important places for almond trees. The Valencian community and Murcia specialize in citrus fruits, so oranges, lemons, citrus fruits. The Ebro Valley, the Cantabrian coast, and the Canary Islands produce peaches, apples, and bananas. Okay, so peaches, the Ebro Valley, apples, especially in the Cantabrian coast, because it rains a lot there, and bananas, the Canary Islands. Very good. And vine is another famous Spanish product. So vine is represented in all of Spain. Okay, no matter the place you go in Spain, in every place we have a different kind of vine. And Spain is one of the largest countries in the world vine production. Important vine areas are Jerez, Córdoba, Galicia, Ribera del Duero, especially in Valladolid, Rioja, Navarra, and Catalonia. But all communities in Spain, all autonomous communities in Spain, have at least one kind of vine, interesting vine. And with that in mind, I'd like you to go to another. I need to find it. Another video clip interesting about the primary sector in Europe, in Spain. Pay attention.
Primary sector in Europe and Spain. The primary sector includes jobs which obtain resources from nature. The main activities from this sector are agriculture, livestock farming, and fishing.
We know all about that. So mining, forestry, agriculture, and fishing. These are the mineral extraction. Okay, because you need a kind of mining here. Okay, mining, coal, iron, and mineral extraction. About oil is a kind of specialization of mining.
In Europe, 5 out of every 100 people work in this sector.
Okay, not many. 5 out of 100 people is not many, even less in Spain. In Spain.
Similarly, in Spain, 4 out of every 100 people work in the primary sector. Agriculture. In Europe, agriculture is the most important activity in the primary sector.
Attention, take a look at this map. So, this green color means that these lands, these areas are flat. You want to grow vegetables, you want to work on agriculture, you need flat surfaces. And this is called the Great Plain of Europe. This is Russia, this is Poland, these are Latvia, Lithuania, this is the Ukraine, all this part, this is Poland, as I said, this is Germany, this part here, this is France. So all this green area is a green that is devoted to agriculture. But this other region, the Mediterranean regions, in Spain, we have this green color are colors that are very suitable for agriculture.
There are 2 large agricultural areas, the Great European Plain and Russia, and the Mediterranean region. The Great European Plain and Russia. This is a very fertile area. The main crops are cereals such as wheat and barley.
Remember wheat, trigo, barley, centeno. Okay? Potatoes, beets, good.
Potatoes and beets. The Mediterranean region. This area produces dry crops such as wheat, grapes and olives, and irrigated crops such as fruit and vegetables.
So grapes and olives are dry crops, remember that, but fruits and vegetables are irrigated crops. Can you see this image? This is the way in which in many countries are working on agriculture in Europe, Spain as well.
Spain produces dry and irrigated crops.
Attention, so dry crops in the inner Spain. Okay, so Castilla-León, Madrid, Castilla-La Mancha, Extremadura, but irrigated crops here, this part especially. So this is Murcia, remember, Murcia. This is Segura River, remember the other day when we talked about that poem.
Typical of the Mediterranean region. Dry crops make up most of the agricultural land in Spain. Cereals, grapes and olives are the most common crops, especially in Castilla-La Mancha, Castilla and León, and Andalusia. Irrigated crops make up about 20% of the agricultural land. Fruit, rice and vegetables are the most common crops, especially in the community of Valencia in Murcia and Andalusia.
Remember, vegetables and strawberries are examples of irrigated crops, while wheat or grapes are examples for dry crops.
Livestock farming. In Europe, livestock farming is the second most important activity in the primary sector. It can be intensive or extensive.
Attention, this is cattle. Cattle is the English for our Spanish ganado. Okay? We're talking about livestock farming and intensive, especially in Northern and Central Europe. So they need stables. Okay, they need indoor rooms to keep these animals.
Intensive livestock farming is common in Northern and Central Europe. It includes cattle, sheep, and pig farming. Extensive livestock farming is common in the Mediterranean region.
Why is it? Because we have sunny weather. In the Mediterranean region, we have sunny weather, so animals can be free there. Okay, and it's different from the northern part of Europe.
Mainly includes cattle and sheep farming.
So these are examples of intensive livestock farming with stables.
In Spain, pig farming is the most common type of livestock farming, especially in Catalonia and Aragon, followed by sheep farming in Extremadura, Castilla and León, and Castilla-La Mancha. Fishing and forestry. In recent years, fishing activity in Europe has decreased due to overexploitation of the European fisheries.
But many people from Spain, many fishermen and women go far away to catch fish, far away.
However, thanks to international agreements, European fishing fleets can fish in seas and oceans from other continents, and Europe is the third largest fishing power in the world.
And talking about Europe and the world, Spain is one of the most important fishing countries in the world. Norway, another one, but Spain as well. Spain, Norway, Japan. Okay, but Spain is one of the most important countries in the world about fishing.
The countries with the most modern fishing fleets are Russia, Norway, Iceland, Denmark, and the United Kingdom.
And Spain as well.
Spain is one of the leading fishing countries in the world. There is onshore fishing in small boats near the coast and offshore fishing in large industrial boats in the ocean. Forestry. This activity takes place mainly in northern European countries such as Norway, Sweden and Finland.
And why in Spain is not the same way? Because we don't have a lot of forests in Spain. Because of the weather in Spain. The weather in Spain is really dry, okay? And this is different in these countries, in the Scandinavian countries. So that's why forestry in Spain has little importance.
Mining and drilling.
Drilling is something that has to do with con taladrar. To drill is to make a hole, okay? And you see this image. So this man, this miner, is drilling here. He's making a hole here in the rock.
There is coal mining in the United Kingdom, Germany and Poland. Iron mining in Sweden, France and Ukraine, and gas and oil drilling in Norway and Russia.
So very good. So that's all, and I'd like you to study a lot. And this is the end of our class today. We meet at midday. So thank you to you all. Greet Javi, teacher Javi, on my part.